Hey guys, Dark Humility here with another build demo for Project Diablo 2 Season 7 closed beta. We have the Poison Nova Necromancer. And yes, the Poison Strike Necromancer is also a thing, and so is Desecrate. All of these builds are amazing, and of course, even the Poison Strike Necromancer is a lot more tanky. Even without block, you can get a crazy bone armor now since it's one of the synergies. But did you know that Poison Nova is still insanely strong? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, you can argue it is stronger again in Season 7 for one reason in particular. The fact that there is now a mercenary that casts slows movement, which is actually kind of insane, and that's the one with Strafe, and that's the one that's going to proc your lower resist with Pus Spitter. So, this build is actually pretty baller. We're going to show it off. Of course, I would say it's definitely not nearly as strong as the crazy, insane, broken self it once was, but it doesn't matter. It's still an insane build. So what we're going to do is, of course, do a mini guide here real quick, and then, of course, show off the build, and you guys can make your own determination about the state of the Poison Nova Necromancer in Season 7. I think some people have given up on it, but maybe you shouldn't. They got I'd say this is a lot better than Vigor Aura, so they got a new Act 1 mercenary in town that's going to proc your Pus Spitter. It's going to do a very good job. Anyway, let's go over what we got here. We got enough strength to wear your gear. You have no dex. You don't need block. You can go a block version of this build, which is perfectly fine. You just might get stuck sometimes, but you don't actually have to. With the slows of movement especially, you can just go DR, faster cast rate, and damage. And then I honestly just put the rest of the points into energy because the main threat on this build is physical damage, and having a really strong bone armor is good. Another thing that you got to take into account is that if you put your points into Vitality, Blood Warp will eat up your mana. That's just, I mean, just eat up your life, right? So you're losing your life anyway. So one way to protect yourself is to make sure your bone armor is as strong as possible. That's an innovation, of course, from some previous seasons, allowing energy to increase your bone armor. So keep that in mind. Golems, you could even use fire golems, but I like the tankier ones that kind of heal you here and there. And Carrion Wind is also nice as well, because it's going to apply some more negative res on top of the lower resist to some extent. Anyway, the basic build though, let's go over the skills real quick. So I like having max blood warp so you can just move around. Freedom of mobility is still amazing on this build. Having 5 blood golems is good. You can also like get revives for some meat shield as well. 1 into bone armor is solid. You can put some more if you want. And of course max out the Poison Strike, Poison Nova, and Desecrate synergies. And since we have the low resist on the mercenary, we don't bother with any of the curses. You could do that if you want though, if you want to go maybe more defensive approach. You definitely invest more into here, maybe take out some of the golems, maybe, you know, there's always some things you can do, but in general this approach that we're doing here works very well. You want a good Death Swab with Poison Facets. Ramble. This is giving us FCR. It's tough to get FCR in the beta because there's no corruptions in a lot of these items, as you can see. But poison damage, corruptions, getting at least that 75 FCR breakpoint, 125 would also be pretty good. Even though we don't have block, we'll block a little bit faster with this if we do, so we're not likely to get stuck. We can even get res if we wanted to. Doesn't particularly matter. And then of course, poison damage and P&B skillers, some kind of mix of the two. Annie. And Torch, Call to Arms, the regular things that you would possibly want to get on this build. Pretty typical stuff for a Poison Necro. Xana was already tested yesterday. You're gonna want to see the previous 2 VODs, Marcelo, if you're interested in Amazon testing. We'll also be posting several build videos at the end of the closed beta, in addition to the speed, in addition to the tier list, to show you guys what is possible on the Amazon. So don't worry about the Amazon. Amazon is taken care of. We got the Amazon. Amazon's covered. Alright, anyway. You can put on some just random res boots too. Doesn't particularly matter. Anyway, let's see if we can get a pretty good one here that's moderately testable. That one doesn't look too bad, but it's got like further drain life. That's pretty nasty. So notice how that slows movement. Really messes with the monsters. Mercenary casts it very often. So you don't actually need as much damage anymore, because you can get away with a mercenary just doing more of the work for you. As you can see, the Poison Nova Necro is back with ultra slow monsters that can't do anything. As you teleport around with slows movement, which is like one of the most broken skills in the game for CC. And the Mercenary proccing, of course, the lower res like normal. With Strafe. Notice here that we have 1700 absorb on the bone armor with all those points into energy. And if you're able to get corruptions, you really want to focus life per kill. The only thing that's going to kill you here is the fact that your life is going down still. And that's just because we don't have enough life per kill. That's all it is. That's it. Oh, we just found an occultist. Nice. Remember, picking up items is part of the game. At least it can be. All you gotta do is teleport using Blood Ward for the most part. Generate your bone armor every once in a while. Use the Poison Nova. As you can see, it doesn't kill things as fast as it used to, which is fine. This is still one of its best maps, of course. You can see with the power, of course, of Carrying Wind plus everything else, it's doing pretty good. The main thing we're lacking is just the life per kill, but with corruptions, it's pretty easy to achieve. You can get way more damage on this build, too. The Poison Nova Necromancer, you feel like it's too dangerous or it's too hard, just use the slow movement Strafe Mercenary with Pus Spitter and you're good to go. But am I mapping the speed? I know. It's only about mapping speed. The Blood Golems tank really well, by the way. Tank's so much better than the Fire Golems do. I think you guys get the idea in this map anyway. Just keep moving around, make sure the monsters can't really hit you. Interweaving between the monster packs. Use the walls. Because the clear speed is reduced a bit though, I definitely would consider this to be like an S- build overall for clear speed and whatnot. But as you can see, doesn't really have many issues. Is bonkers the difference? What's bonkers? What's bonkers, rolling hammer? What's bonkers? Look at that! Look at that occultist we found. That's kind of neat. It's like rabies, but if rabies was balanced. Yep, exactly. Good way to describe it. Supposedly rabies is a little bit weaker now though because of their moving around the Act 1 mercenary a bit. We'll have to take a look at that because I think there might be some evidence of that for sure. I'm surprised rabies didn't take a bigger hit, honestly though. But, you know, you do have more mobility on this particular build than Rabies, though, so... There is that, you know. This is a pretty chill build, though, honestly. Unless you forget to roll your bone armor and die. I really like the non-block builds of the Necro, because he really doesn't have any block frames whatsoever. Like, we just got that 3% block proc there, and look how bad his block is. This is the same thing on Poison Strike. It was the same problem. You can also finish off some really high HP monsters with Desecrate real quick if you want, like this. Yeah, see, this is balanced Poison Nova. That's what it is. Quote unquote balanced Poison Nova. Yeah, this is Season 7 Poison Nova. GG. Get that DR. Get that block. Get that life for kill. Get that damage. No block. Energy for bone armor. Good to go. Honestly, that vine hits a lot of monsters. Carrying Wind is pretty nice. Don't have to go Carrying Wind, of course, but there's other things you can do, but it's really nice for the negative res. I'm really enjoying the Poison Nova still. Broken map. You guys long for the Poison Nova of old? Slow movement is so strong, man. The monsters just sit there and don't do anything. It's great. So yeah, the new Act 1 Mercenary type, Physical Strafe, does not have an aura, which is fine for a build that does teleporting and that doesn't need any of the mana regen from meditation. No vigor, but it does strafe. I expect this build to be S- or even fully S tier by the next season once more. It's quite a beast. We'll show them a little bit more here though. And then of course we'll move on to the next build. Hopefully you guys are awaiting, of course, more awesome builds for Season 7. See what is in store. Remember, when your favorite build gets nerfed, it may still be extremely strong. Especially with new changes in the current season or even in seasons to come. Do not underestimate this power. Well, Desecrate for P8 mapping, yeah. That's what you would do, yeah. Desecrate's really good for P8 mapping, for sure. For solo mapping, it's slower than Poison Nova by quite a bit, because you just can't cover as much ground, but It's good though. Look at this slow's movement. It's so strong. Look at this. Yeah, someone commented earlier they didn't think it was procced very often. It's pretty frequent. Blood mana. Oh god, no. That's right, I do have more mana than health. Yikes. Those really high HP enemies just use Desecrate. Dark Force spawn. It's a pretty good item. I'm surprised no one else mentioned this, the slow movement mercenary. Do you remember when I used Chromatic Ire in Season 5, chat? YouTube might remember. That's how I got my 99 Sork, it's the same thing. Slow's movement is so strong. I haven't even died once doing this. I don't have any block and I have like no health. I just need life per kill. If I had life per kill, this would be super safe. That's all. DPS meter is working as intended by not working. That's what I mean. It's not working for poison damage. I was noticing this earlier with Poison Dagger. What did I say? It wasn't working. I wonder if anyone else discovered this bug. The DPS meter's not working for poison damage. 13,000? What? 13,000. That's ridiculous, Mom. Ridiculous. This is a very hard map, by the way, but... it's funny, though. I mean, I have life per kill here and here, but you need even more life per kill. You need like 20. So like 10 isn't going to really cut it for like sustaining your HP, really. That's why having this like low HP is actually not a bad idea, and just putting everything into energy so that you can constantly sustain your life with lower LPK. It's one of those weird mechanical things for the Poison Nova Necro to take into account. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this demo of the Poison Nova Necromancer. As you can see, his damage isn't as absurd, and he can't just one-shot everything in the entire room, but it doesn't matter. He's able to survive so much better. His mobility is insane. His ability to one-shot a lot of things is insane, and with Desecrate, you can even take on the high HP monsters at no problem. Still crushing maps very quickly, especially like Throne of Insanity and River that have lower HP monsters. But even something like Pandemonium Citadel can go down.
Can I help you?
No problem. Anyway, see you guys in the next demo. Let's get it.